Okay. Hopefully, I will keep track of things. I think I get less and less organized as time goes on. It's so bad. It's so bad. But if we are all physically, if not emotionally prepared, let's get started.
We are ready. Yes.
Re-listening to the last session, one of the things that amused me the most, and it was going on the session before that, really ever since Paco showed up, and there was that whole thing about I just picked one of the different Pacos, because there's essentially a Paco build for every single adventure that he shows up in. Because unless you like do a specific module and like share it in each campaign, uh you basically have to recreate stuff in Fantasy Grounds between campaigns. So I've been doing that every single time Paco shows up. And in my brain now, Paco is like Goblin Barbie. And I keep cracking up every time the idea hits my head. And I get distracted for like, that's 5 minutes right there of me giggling over Goblin Barbie. You recruited Paco, the NPC, briefly, and you got the most overpowered Goblin Barbie build that there is, and had him throwing sticks of dynamite and blew up some stuff, including Kelladek the Wizard. You had come to the rescue of a goat that accosted you in the street. That goat turned out to be a elf wizard by the name of Wilhelm, who had been true polymorphed into a goat. Using a wand, he said he had borrowed, quote unquote, from his uncle Yummy. Uh, he dropped phrases like royalty, King Ryum, stuff like that, but I'm not quite sure that means anything to you. You could do a history check to see if that actually means anything to Kymir or Shaefira. But for you guys as people, you know exactly who those people are, because Wilhelm is a character Rach plays in the other campaign.
Mm.
Anyway, you managed to save Wilhelm. It was awesome because things could have gone badly because this wand of true polymorph had been overused and it was throwing up sparks. It was kind of dodgy. In fact, part of how you defeated Kelladek the Unspoken was he used the wand on himself. It turned him into a gibbering mouther, and after that, it wasn't much trouble squashing him. But you risked it for a biscuit. Tried to use the wand one more time on Wilhelm the goat and changed Wilhelm back into an elf wizard. In gratitude, he's assisting his tasty friend Paco, the Goblin Barbie, in his campaign. So, since you met him last, the assumption is that he's in the styes. He's using his wizard skills to shore up the mud wall that recently collapsed and caused a lot of damage and death in the styes. And then he's going to be putting in a good word for his pal and raising his profile in the upcoming election that is tomorrow in our game world. And you want Paco to do well because there is a candidate amongst your friends who is tied for second place in the upcoming election. None of you want to be elected to the town council of Saltmarsh. You guys have been very vehement. I can't say that word. Vehement about that?
Vehement? Yeah.
Vehement. It's like one
Definite.
of those words that I don't say out loud. I read it a lot.
Read it.
I
Yeah.
write it, but I don't say it vehemently. Vehemently? God, it's weird. Ooh, one of those words. You definitely do not want to be in public office.
Yes,
You've made that
yes.
very clear. And so, in a way, I'm kind of sad that I put forth any kind of time into planning.
Well, you could scupper
This
what we actually
option-
want and put us in there
Yeah, you could
anyway.
make us do it.
Not like we get a
Just
choice.
for something that nobody wants to do, I sure have been making you roll a lot for it. Week after week, just making you roll in the tower and letting you kind of dangle in the wind about whether or not you rolled well or not. Small joys. But Shaefira and Kymir they have managed to not to maintain low enough profile that they are not the odds-on favorites. The odds of them getting elected to office are teeny, minuscule. They just aren't the votes out there. While they do have you have your supporters, each of you, the contingents that support you just aren't large enough to expect to land one of these seats on the town council. Esteban Urkel, however, the most interesting man in Saltmarsh, which happens to be an alias of your pal Stiiv, is not in the same boat, though. Because not only does he have this great reputation across different factions in Saltmarsh, he recruited Barry the tomato vendor to be his campaign manager. Now, I've said, well, the assumption was that Barry was going to be terrible at this. But I had Barry roll along with Stiiv doing the rolls for Esteban Urkel, and Barry rolled very well most of the time, which has put him into this position tied for second place now with both Paco, due to Wilhelm's promotion, and Tito, the former smuggler who lives in the sties, who you've rescued a couple times, but he's on a progressive kind of reform campaign. And then, of course, in first place, we've mentioned already, Mr. Dory is definitely the front runner. He's native to Saltmarsh, pretty popular, a little bit weird, but he runs the fish factory and the chippy next door, and pretty much everybody knows him, and he seems like a shoo-in to get at least one of those spots. Where we left... Oh, I also forgot to mention that you rescued Dave.
Yes,
Dave, who used to be the familiar of Kaladek the Unspoken, but now he's unfamiliar, and he's humanized, and so he's your friend now. He's Dave, your friend. So you saved him from a little trap over an acid trap or something like that, which is good on you. Shaefira finally got to use some thief sleight of hand, kind of picking of locks.
Yep.
For the first time since the first session.
Yeah.
So woohoo, payoff. But you have this alternate plan to avoid Esteban Urkel, or aka Stiiv, or flip it, reverse it, getting elected into office. And that is something that Trivet Amoria, kind of Stiiv's sister, mentioned. The idea of, it's a shame you can't raise Eleander Fireborn from the dead. And she's brought it to your attention that there is somebody in Saltmarsh who can raise the dead, but typically does not do it because he's bitter. And maybe he's not so nice. I don't know. The word on the street, as you know it, because I think there was some doubts. You guys had some doubts. Well, like, if he never raised anybody from the dead, do we know he can actually do it? And this person does have a reputation of being a battle cleric who fought in the last war. He's known as Lieutenant Flig, and he was once a cleric of the Sovereign Host. But when he returned from the last war, he converted his religion to the Dark Six and has become since a follower of the Mockery.
I just need to go shut the bedroom window. It's pissing it down.
Okay.
In a minute.
Watch out for Peaches.
She wishes. Wow, that just...
Did it start up a downpour?
Yeah, surprising, because it's really warm, especially up on the bedroom window. It's really warm tonight.
It's gorgeous here today, but yesterday we had the pissing, and there was flooding.
I'm back.
Oh, it was really foggy this morning when I went out to pick up his weekly shop, and it's just been like, I can't even remember if there's been any sun today.
No, there's been no sun today.
But yeah,
I'm sure it was somewhere, but we didn't see it.
It's
it
just
would
not
appear that they've got it.
your neck of the woods. I've got it. I've got some of the sun. Probably more than my share. Yesterday, though, we had your piss. That sounds so wrong.
Slight wording issue there.
Yesterday, the day before.
Funny.
It doesn't quite translate in all forms of sentences. But okay, you get the gist.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So you have, it has come, the knowledge, word on the street is people can petition Lieutenant Flick for to raise their dead loved ones, but he's never actually done it because he requires the petitioners to challenge him in unarmed combat in order to determine whether or not he will provide them the service. He requires that he be bloodied in an unarmed combat before he'll do the deed, and no one has yet been successful apparently, and so most people don't bother trying. They consider him just not even an option, given that most of the individuals in Saltmarsh are simple fishers and smugglers, and not remotely on par with a lauded veteran of the last war. However, you decided to take a little trip to the Temple of the Dark Six and check it out, which you did. Have I forgotten anything that happened last week? Or last session? Because it wasn't last week.
No.
Oh, Stiiv has been in the attic
Counting his rice.
counting his rice because he's come into a vast amount of rice. And he's also up to some shenanigans having to do with inscribing. He had you get him some extra supplies from the alchemists because he needed more paper and arcane ink.
Yes.
So some kind of maybe it's paperwork. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I mean, what do you guys know about Steve's profession?
I don't know. Maybe he's printing money.
Yeah, do we know anything about his profession? I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, I think he has let on that he has in the past had some affiliations with smugglers.
yeah, I think we would have got that idea even if he hadn't have come out and told us.
And you know that he can do that Eldritch Blast thing, and you know he has Toby, the spectral
Yeah.
tentacle that pops up here and there. And of course, he has an aberrant dragon mark all over his face and little horns. So you know that Stiiv isn't a normal kind of person per se. He's not, your average schmuck off the streets of Saltmarsh. But the mysteries and minutia of Steve's hobbies and favorite things. Maybe you don't know everything in that book. You just read the first couple pages, like the first chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, his chapter about having some sort of
Maybe skim the table of contents, but you definitely didn't flip ahead to read the end, Like, yeah, I heard that book. We're supposed to be doing it at book club next month, but I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. That is Stiiv. So he's back at the house, and he doesn't really know what you're up to. But you went to the Temple of the Dark Six. Do you remember anything about that temple? What I said about it? Because I think I did some wall of text.
They dropped someone off. Yeah, didn't they drop someone off the? I can't remember. It was like there was a great big hole in the ceiling. I can't remember if it was a tower, and someone came falling out of the sky from it, and his wife were there.
Are you talking about a dream you had or something? I have
No.
recollection whatsoever.
Maybe I should I will re-summarize that because Kymir is actually on the right foot.
Ha!
Yes, you went to the Temple of the Dark Six. Entering, it's pretty it's dark, which is kind of on theme. Most of the temple seem to be taken up with a one floor, high ceiling, wooden benches. Most of the room is dominated by a shrine to the Devourer. So I had to like turn on my mouse. I've been talking so long, so obviously, wow. Am I wordy today or what? Buying time in the chaos. Because I described it to Thulgrin as I am coterminous with Kithri today.
Wow.
Like I am churning chaos. And you recognize that there's the priest leading most of the congregation is a one-legged fisherman wearing like a oilskin poncho, like a fisher would. You know his name is Welgar Brinehanded. And most of the faithful in the Temple of the Dark Six were listening to him, and they were doing memories in for the dead. And most of the preaching that Welgar was doing had to do with the people who died. Their time had come, and it's a pity that they weren't swallowed up by the sea, that kind of thing. That the devourer will take its due. There are also different little spots to the other deities that are part of the Dark Six within this temple, even though it is dominated by the devourer. So you saw shrines to like the Keeper and the Mockery and the Traveler, stuff like that. And then you also see that there's a winding staircase leading up. And then in the ceiling of this temple, where in some temples there might be like an elaborate painting, or there might be large chandeliers hanging down, bright with candles. Especially the silver frame, there'd be like, blue flames and stuff everywhere. Instead, it's a very simple plain stone ceiling, but there is a round opening, good 10 feet wide. If you look up it, you can see the sky. And beneath this opening in the ceiling of the temple, on the cobbled floor, I think I said it was cobbled, the floor is stained with blood. You saw there were many, looked like commoners, grieving, mourning their dead. And as you were looking around, a body came falling down from the opening overhead, crashed into the cobbles, and a woman ran forward crying, saying, "I told you not to do it. I told you not to try," as she kind of clutched at this fallen body that appeared to be now dead from the impact of the floor. And I think that's where we left it.
That sounds right. Yep.
So, having walked in here and seen this place of worship that is a bit far afield from at least what you're used to, Kymir, Shaefira, you've been around, haven't you? You've seen a lot of stuff.
Mm.
This maybe isn't your first Temple of the Dark Six. I don't know. I mean, how are you in terms of... Do you have any, like, religious preferences?
I do not know. I don't think so.
So you're not much bothered but
No.
by one way or the other. Any port in a storm. And actually, that attitude would probably be kind of popular with the Devourer. Like any port in the storm, you want the port with the Devourer. But never mind. I'm babbling. Don't mind me. I'm babbling. Kymir, do you have a preference either? Because while you are a monk, came out of a monastery of the way of the broken code. While that's
Um,
a monastic order, it's not particularly religious. It's not affiliated with any god.
yeah, but I feel it would be definitely more on the lawful side of things, you know. And I feel that Kymir's always sort of been raised to sort of do the right thing and help people. And I kind of think that the mockery would not make him comfortable.
There are aspects of the mockery that are not Johnny Fairplay.
Mm.
The mockery is inherently cruel rather than the aspects of the sovereign host, Doldorn. Hope I got that right. Because my brain is not on at full force today, so I'm not good at picking out the names and remembering things correctly today. But where there are aspects of the Order of the Sovereign Host that are associated with battle and combat, they tend to be more on the side of duty and honor, the rules of combat, and like I said before, Johnny Fairplay. And the mockery, as are all of the entities associated with the Dark Six, are the more, perhaps you could say perverted, you could say the darker reflections of their counterparts in the Sovereign Host. So it's the balance, it's the other side of the coin. So yeah, it's probably maybe it might make you feel unsettled, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think he would be a bit uncomfortable.
And do a history check.
Just
Because
Kymir?
yeah, Kymir.
Ugh.
Too bad. So most of your learning with the monastery and the way of the broken code really did focus on aspects of religion as well as just the world that were tied up into the draconic prophecy. So you haven't had a lot of exposure to the ins and outs of what this kind of church is structured like and what these people are like. And while you may have heard that there are monks associated with the mockery, that's all you know. You don't really know what to expect. I feel like I was headed somewhere specific. Like to a specific next question for you guys, but I ain't got it. And I guess this is a good time to remind that you have noticed that in the town of Saltmarsh, there seems to be a wide number of religions represented here. It doesn't seem to be dominated by one singular faith. You've passed by places that not only this Temple of the Dark Six, there's a Temple of the Sovereign Host, which you met a vassal with that temple, a vassal Refram, last session, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the session before that, I can't remember. In fact, he's the guy who took over when Lieutenant Flegg went off to war.
Yes, you told us that.
Maybe
Remember that.
maybe not an equal replacement, but replacement nonetheless. You know that there's a Temple of the Silver Flame here. There is a path of the inspired mind, sort of retreat spa location. There may be more than that, but I can't remember if I actually set it up on the map. So there's all sorts. And from the impression you've gotten from the people and word on the street that you've heard, there hasn't been a lot of conflict between these different religions outside of people complaining about the Silver Flame vandalizing stuff. So the Silver Flame seems to be the biggest troublemakers in town, and they're usually just trying to wreck the facilities of other religions. And most of the group that gets most of this heat is the Temple of the Sovereign Host.
Okay.
So, woman in front of you, over, kind of crouched over this deceased man, trying to kind of gather his bones together. A couple other villagers have moved forward to help, and you guys are just watching. The sermon up the front of the temple from Welgar Brinehanded just continues. Like, there was a brief 2 seconds of silence when the body fell, and then everything just went back to business as usual.
So used to it.
What do you do? It's like it wasn't exactly an unexpected event from the people who were in this building.
All right. But so the wife was there and she watched him do it, but we don't know why he did it.
She was waiting down below. Yeah.
Right. Do we want to know why he did it, or do we just want to?
Well,
What?
yeah.
She's an NPC. You can talk to her if you want to. That's how this game works.
I think we ought to try and find
She's
out.
got like a little not she
Chalice
doesn't
over
have
her
a
head?
little chalice over her head, but she does have like a little symbol like you could talk to her. Maybe
Oh
a
my
dot
God.
dot dot.
Oh, dear.
Well, I mean, didn't you say she was crying? I would imagine she would be quite
She's
distraught. The fact that her
crying and
husband's
distraught, but I mean, it doesn't mean she's lost the capacity to speak.
Yeah, we need to ask, just out of curiosity, if nothing else. I want to know why he's fallen through a big hole.
All right, let's edge over towards the distraught woman then and her splattered husband.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure how we go about. I mean, do we just walk up and say, what? Or
Well, we could say, do you need any assistance? Or something,
all right, yeah, go on.
maybe. Yeah, ask if she needs some assistance.
You walk up and ask her if she needs assistance.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Are either of you a healer?
No, but
My Eustace, I think he's dead. I told him not to do
Ugh.
it. I told him not to do it. There's no point.
could
Why-
you explain what happened?
Well, a lad, Timmy. He drowned in the mudslide.
Eh?
And
Somewhat
Eustace felt awfully guilty because he lost his grip on him.
Oh,
And he washed away. And he couldn't live with himself, so he came here.
and jumped through a hole.
He came here to petition the lieutenant, challenge him to a fight.
Ah.
and he lost.
Well, it doesn't look like he won, does it?
What? But I'm so confused as to why he fell. Was the fight upstairs?
On the roof.
Oh yeah, that's where the arena is.
So if you lose, you fall through the hole, yes?
Oh, it's more like Lieutenant tosses you over.
Ah.
Well, that's not what was advertised to us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear.
What? Advertised? What?
yeah.
What were you told?
We were told that it's like you fight him to submission. Oh, I suppose it's fight him to submission. I'm sure it's. Did we not get told that if we submit, then
I have no idea.
this is what happens when I don't take notes? Yeah, I don't remember. So, okay. So,
Oh. Somebody told you could ask for mercy?
yeah.
Phew. No, he
Okay.
considers it mercy to just not kill you outright.
Right
Nope.
then.
You challenge him, hand-to-hand combat. You bloody him. He'll do you the service. But for the links that you're fighting him, he's looking to toss you over.
Right. That makes sense.
It's pretty straightforward, actually. It's just likes of fools like Eustace here, broken on the ground, who's even willing to try. But I reckon after Timmy died, he doesn't feel fit to live. So wasn't any loss to him.
But you're his wife, yeah?
Yep, that's me lot.
So who was Timmy?
My son.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm on my own now.
Hmm.
Which Eustace, if he hadn't been so picky and obsessed about, where he screwed up, failed, lost our son, he should have stuck around if he had any sense of duty instead of fighting Lieutenant when he knew he wasn't going to win.
Yeah, that does seem like a bit of a waste of time if he's got no real sort of fighting abilities.
The man could barely wrangle a tuna in a net, much less fight some veteran of the last war.
Okay.
Okay.
I am sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Oh, how sorry are you? Spare me a gold for the burial.
I hand her a gold piece.
Ooh, she bites it. Ooh, it's real. And you see her friends, they go back to like wrapping him up, and it's not like a fine linen shroud, it's more like oiled canvas. And you
Sad.
hear them talking, they're like, I will just toss his body off the leap. He'd want it that way.
Here. What? Can't we just give her a gold for the burial? Is that for drinking afterwards then? You think?
I feel she probably needs a drink after
Yeah.
watching him do that.
It's for the wake.
And if a stupid idiot decided to fight someone he couldn't thing anyway, then she's probably
she's on
yeah.
her own now, so she's pretty much,
Okay, so
So we need to see the lieutenant. Is that's why we're there, isn't it?
it is, yeah. Can we see any stairs up?
yeah. There's a spiral staircase leading up.
Then we shall head to the stairs, I guess, and go find him upstairs.
Yeah.
So you head upstairs, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go up the stairs and you see it's just like a tunnel. It seems to round in a circle. And it's just stone walls. Along the floor, you see patches of. There's streaks of blood in some places along the walls. Unmentionable gristle littering the cobbles in some places.
Does no one clean up?
Yeah, apparently the maid, it's her year off. Not one for housekeeping the Dark Six.
No. Sounds like a lovely place.
And here there is a roof overhead in this tunnel that you're in, but it circles around and you reach a point where there's a gate.
Okay.
And you peer through the gate because it's bars. And you see there is an arena open to the sky, sanded ground. It's like who hauled all this sand up to the roof of this temple? But somebody did. They like sand, apparently. You don't see anybody, but you do see that there's stains on the sanded ground. Look to be rusty, perhaps blood. You see there are various columns set up about 6 feet tall in different locations in the sandy arena with spikes coming out of the columns. Same thing goes for the circular lining of the outer wall. There are various places where there are spikes coming out of that stone as well. A couple gutter drainage spots in front of you. And you see that there's a short wall directly opposite the gate. You can see over it, and you can see the back of a man's head on the opposite side. It's not facing you. That's why you're seeing the back of his head. But this short wall, it also seems to be kind of rounded. And you think that that's probably that its positioning seems to line up with the opening to the sky from down below.
Right.
And from the gate to this short wall, it's about 30-40 feet.
I open the gate. I'll try to see if it's locked.
Oh, it opens easily. There's a creaking sound because nobody oils the hinges either. And you just walk on in. The place seems to be deserted, other than the man who isn't facing you on the opposite side.
Okay.
Do you reckon he's a lieutenant?
I'm assuming so if he's the only person up here and that guy fell from that hole.
Okay, I'm going to share a map. And I'm going to put you on it. You got that?
Yes.
And I think I did mention before that now there is no ceiling here. You are open to the elements. But it seems like a nice day actually out. It's sunny.
Oh, everyone's got the sun apart from us.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we step inside.
And let's walk around the big hole.
I'm just going to shout at him across it.
Do you peer down the hole?
Well, we've been down deeper holes, to be fair. So
Yeah,
we could have a
you
look.
did that whole
Okay.
tower descent into the ruins of
Yeah.
Marseval. It's not your first tower.
Has a look over the edge.
You peer down, and it's only a drop of like 40 feet. So I mean,
Oh,
that's
no.
like what, a third of what the ruins of Marseval was. Now, granted, this drop does not have a bunch of little platforms along the side. You do see that there seems to be a four-pronged blade about 30 feet, not 30 feet, but like 10 feet down. That if one were to fall, you might want to avoid striking that blade
Uh-huh.
because that would probably sting. But then on the other hand, if you're falling 40 feet, there are other things to worry about as well, like the landing. But other than that, it just seems to be a hole. A hole with there's about a 4-foot shorter wall surrounding it. So it's like a wide mouthed well almost. If you're just looking
Okay.
at it from a small distance.
So Shaefira has to be standing on tiptoes, maybe
Yeah, like it is
climbing a little bit.
Yeah, she has to stand on tiptoes and kind of like hoofed herself up a little because the wall ends a little bit higher than her head. Because she's only about 3.5 feet tall.
Yep, teeny tiny.
But Kymir, you can hold her up a little bit and just let her peer over the side. Give her a boost.
Just grab her under her armpits and
Yeah.
lift her up.
Yeah. Oh, dear. All right then. So nothing exciting about that, really.
Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. It's a hole. It's a hole.
Yeah.
And it's a long drop. There's a little bit of sharp stuff on the way down. Though the blades about 6 inches wide. Maybe somebody really who really, you know,
Lucky.
did a feat of acrobatics could land on that and stop their fall about 10 feet down.
I did wonder.
But on the other hand, if you weren't super acrobatic in that moment, it might be just like that the end that end part in have you seen Titanic where like the guy
Yeah.
Yes.
hits the rudder or whatever?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It could be kind of like that too.
Lots off. Yeah. Yeah.
But it is a thing. The thought crosses your mind that somebody, you know, with the dexterity, which both of you have, right? You're
Yes.
agile people.
Not clever, but agile.
Good at dances. You've known to land on your feet at least once. It's a thing that at least crosses your mind. You do see that as well as the spikes coming out of the walls, though this well seems to just be stone, you know, normal stone. There's no spikes coming out of the well shape in the middle. Just the different columns littered about and the outer wall. Between the spikes, you do see a symbol made up of knives that's up in the left-hand corner of the map to symbolize the mockery.
Okay.
And that's hanging from some blood-spattered banners in various locations around the loop. Do you move towards the figure?
Yes.
As you approach, you see this man. He is not wearing armor. He is bare-chested. And his body is covered in scars. He seems to be scooping up handfuls of sand and rubbing them into the wounds on his upper arms. You can do a insight or medicine check. Kymir, looking at all the scars, you're like, that hurt. He's gotten injured a lot. But Shaefira, you figure out from looking that some of these scars are fresh. Some of them seem quite old. Some of them seem to be like in his side, coming in the back. You think that you see something that looks like a spear, an old spear wound. But others amongst his wounds seem to be perhaps self-inflicted. And they do vary in age. Some of them are quite fresh. Some of them are quite old. And it seems to be a crude network of scars over time.
Is there any sort of like discernible pattern, or is it just he's just scarring himself?
Quite random. No discernible pattern. But all over any bare flesh that you see, it has scars.
Think he does it to make himself look more intimidating?
Maybe.
You know that the mockery has to do with cruelty and battle, and you figured that growing accustomed to pain is maybe one of their gimmicks. So you think some of it is war wounds? but some of it is perhaps just his becoming an initiate with this religion.
Okay. Yeah, let's.
Yeah, move closer.
Yes, hail him. Although I'm assuming he's seen us approach.
He doesn't seem to stop what he's doing. He's rubbing the sand into his wounds, and he doesn't flinch like you would expect someone to do. He's very methodical about it. He
Okay.
doesn't speak to you until you address him.
Would you be the Lieutenant Flig by any chance? Was it Flig? Flig?
Flick,
Flig.
that would be me.
We've been told that if I can beat you in combat, or if one of us can beat you in combat, you. Shaefira's pointedly told me it's me. If I can beat you in combat, you could attempt to raise someone who has died.
He tilts his head slightly and he just looks at you. And you see one steely eye attempt.
Well, I don't know if you can do what you say you can.
And he stops rubbing the sand into his wounds. And he turns around and he kind of grins at you. You see that he does have a couple teeth missing. And he just grins at you. He's like, I'm long past attempting anything, boy.
Boy?
Anger the dude.
He
I
does
don't
seem
know.
to be an older man, at least middle-aged. Actually, he's akin to the age Eleander Fireborn was.
Okay. I'm here to petition for you to raise Elian de Fireborn, who was unfortunately killed in the mudslide to the north of the town recently.
He lets out a murmur. The name seems to mean something to him. You see some emotions kind of pass his feature, but he stills them and becomes a little bit hard-faced again.
Okay.
Eleander was a noble man.
He was a very I'm trying to play on the fact that he obviously knows him and stuff. So I want to say that he was a very noble man. I've only met him a few times since arriving in town, but he always struck me as very noble and self-sacrificing and good. Yeah. And he was taken too soon from Saltmarsh.
Lean back.
You see the lieutenant start to stretch his arms, stretching his muscles, like he's beginning to limber up.
I take it that's a yes.
Eleander was a dutiful soldier. He felt great responsibility to this town. He liked to do good things. Good things are what got him killed. Trying to help the citizens of Saltmarsh. Eleander,
Maybe.
he was a good man, but he was also a fool.
In what way?
He was always going to die, one way or another, helping the helpless was going to get him killed. It's only chance that allows one to escape the ultimate fate.
True, but that doesn't mean that a good man doesn't deserve a second chance.
Do you consider yourself a good man? What's your name? Did you say?
I did not. My name is Kymir.
Kymir. You seem optimistic sort. Comes with youth. And sometimes stupidity.
I can't argue with that.
So as to have no mistake in understanding what you are asking to engage in. Barring anything you might have heard before, I feel I should, to be fair, and he seems to kind of draw that word, like he doesn't really give a shit, but he's humoring you.
Okay.
I'll state what agreement you're getting into. Because, after all, you know Eleander, or knew Eleander Fireborn. Surely you've wondered why he would let me throw someone off a building. I mean, did he really seem like the type to you?
I have found in my few years that religions have their own rules.
Exactly. Everyone who comes here gets the same statement. They know what they're getting into. They know that they're risking their lives. And I can hardly be faulted if they're not up to securing the deal. A simple, straightforward hand-to-hand combat. But that is all I offer. No weapons.
Definitely Kymir then.
You don't seem to be armored. But normally, no armor. And we simply combat. Hand to hand. And if you bloody me, I will offer you one service. But if I defeat you, well, you get tossed overside into the well. And then whatever happens to you at that point, I guess that's down to fate and inevitability.
I understand.
So,
Can I watch?
oh, certainly. Though I would suggest you try to stay out of the way.
Yeah, I'll go sit somewhere out of the way.
Yes, I
Do you want me
wouldn't
to lift you up
stand.
onto the wall?
I wouldn't stand by the well. That's
Yeah.
for certain. Yeah. That happened once.
Is that wall there where Shaefira is just to the south of her? Is that a low wall or a high wall? Or
It's higher than her head. She could climb on top of it. Do a little, because there's places where she could get a foothold and climb up, but it's about 8 feet tall.
Yeah, all right, I'll climb
Crumbling
up there.
somewhat. But it seems like a fairly decently sturdy structure, like it's not completely ready to topple over.
I'm going to pass my hand of fate up to Shaefira and say, if I don't make it, make sure this gets back to Gary.
Okay. And I think we should pause before any combat commences so that I can refill my water.
Yes.
All right, quick break.
Wait, you rolled a 20. Why did you roll a 20?
Oh, that was us trying to get all the bad rolls out before you arrived.
I'm not sure that exactly worked. You look like you broke even.
Yeah, we'll see.
Write somewhere with a pencil. I'm going to write somewhere with a pencil.
Ooh,
You
pencil.
rolled a 20, and what was that associated with? Because I would have needed to eat a peach. One of the pissed peaches.
Oh!
But it wasn't associated with any roll, huh?
No, unfortunately not. But feel free to eat a pissed peach anyway.
So I hope this combat actually goes well. Since this was all a hypothetical, yeah, this will be a challenge of some sort that is pertinent to Kymir's skills.
Uh-huh. Dying, you mean?
It could go any way. I mean, it could be like fun because it's hand-to-hand combat, and you're a level 5 monk. That's your deal. Or it could be over really fast, or it could just be terrible, or I don't know. So here's hoping. I'll eat a peach to that. Positive challenge experience. Pissed peachy.
She's having a pissed peach. Oh, you've got your headset on.
There's definitely more actual fruit flavor than with the moonshine cherries.
I bet it's really
cherries,
tasty.
I mean, you had something to chew, but it was pretty much all moonshine all the way. That tastes like a really strong peach vodka martini or something.
Yeah.
All right. Hi. So, you handed over Hands of Fate, your I've been calling it like a double-bladed quarterstaff, but it's like a comma, kind of like a oversized comma.
Uh-huh.
You hand that over to Shaefira, who's crawled up on top of a wall to watch. Anything else that you're doing to prepare before the combat begins?
Drops. Protection of course.
Trying to think. I've got
You
on my
might wanna take your top off and rub some sand into your chest.
No.
I'm giggling so hard at it. That's totally what Lieutenant Flick is doing.
Yeah, I guess I will stretch limber up as well.
Get that. Get your
Limber.
warm up those muscles. Don't want to get a cramp in the middle of something exciting.
Oh, definitely no.
Shaefira, what are you doing other than getting settled for a nice afternoon, watching your friend fight to the death or to the bleeding? You got any snacks, popcorn? I don't know.
I'm expecting Shaefira to stand up there and do like cheerleading for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna cheer for you.
Hoping for the best.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess this would be the time, if there's nothing else. If there's absolutely nothing else, you should roll for initiative.
Okay. No, I don't think you have to.
Oh, and also adjust yourself accordingly.
I'm trying to remember where my initiative is. There. I'm just going to step up.
Oh, somebody rolled low.
Do you want me? You don't want me to roll initiative?
Nah. Well, you can.
Just a mean hole.
You probably should roll initiative. Okay. I don't expect you to be doing anything necessarily, but I mean, if something were to happen in which you decided that you wanted to do something, then now you are accounted for. So, no adjusting yourself accordingly. You're gonna start out where you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like
Start
there's
as
any
you
point
need
in
to go
hiding
on.
around behind things, is there?
Okay. You're up.
Right. Right, I'm first.
Mano a mano, you're about 10 feet apart. Lieutenant Flake has finished rubbing the sand into his wounds. He's stretched out. You stretched out. You just rush forward. Let's get this show on the road.
Get it on. Right, hang on.
You are balanced on top of a grate.
Oh, I am. Do you know? I'll move myself to there. Do I want my back to the thingy? I was there, wasn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go there. I realise I'm now behind a. Oh, I've got my back to a spiky thing, but I don't want to stand on the grate in case he knows some way of. I don't know. I'm gonna stay there. Okay. Right, I haven't used my hand to hand in ages. Oh shit. Right, my offhand attack. Oh, this is a good start. And then I believe I have a bonus attack.
Not one.
Yeah, I know. What the hell?
See what? He rolled an 8 and then a 6.
Right, last one. Oh, for fuck's sake.
You're letting nurse. Kymir's letting the nurse get to him.
Right.
So you run forward, eager. Flying fists, left, right, and every single swing falls short. And Lieutenant Flake just laughs. You're gonna have to do better than that, son.
I know that. Yeah, I'm saving my key points. I'm not going to do it else.
Lieutenant, he sticks out one hand and just shoves in the middle of your chest and shoves you towards that spike. So he's going to roll an athletics check, and you're going to have to roll. You can roll either in athletics or acrobatics to contest. And if he rolls higher, he shoves you. I thought I set it up on his sheet, but obviously I am wrong. I'm going to have to open his sheet. And you manage to resist, and he fails to shove. And you see his eyes kind of widen a little bit in surprise. And he's like, perhaps I spoke too soon. Shaefira, I assume you're watching.
Yeah, I'm jumping up and down on the wall. Give me a K. Give me a 1.
Kymir, it's you again.
Okay, let's see if I get a bloody hit him this time. Yes!
And this time you hit him with a 21.
Right, so according to this, if I hit someone, I can spend a key point to do a stunning strike.
Yes.
So, do I do the damage first and then do the throw for the stunning strike, or does the stunning strike supersede the damage?
Go ahead and do the damage. And then the stunning strike is to see if that blow stunned him. So the damage happens regardless. So you do 4 damage with your blow. And now, what is the DC on the stunning strike?
Well, that's a good question. It says the target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. But it doesn't tell me what the DC is on this description.
Looking at your character sheet, see if we set it up.
Yeah, I can't see it in the actions unless I'm just not looking right.
What is... No, that's not going to be a good can't use your spell stuff. Okay, your proficiency. What is your dex bonus is 6? No, that can't be right. It's 3 is the normal modifier. Then your proficiency is 3.
Dex is 3.
So that'd be 8. I'm going to say DC 14.
Okay.
And it's a Constitution saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm rolling. Oh, he got a dirty 20.
Okay.
So not stunned, but you did do 4 points of damage. And I'm assuming, well, okay, was that stunning blow a bonus action?
It just says when you hit another creature, you can spend a key point to attempt it. So it doesn't say if it's a. It says it's a feature.
Okay, I'm assuming that is not a bonus action then.
Okay.
It should pretty much explicitly say.
It's the first time I've used it as well. So, okay, so I can just do my 2 normal extra attacks then.
All right, yeah, you can do your other additional attacks and your bonus action.
Yeah, I'll hit again.
We'll hit him again with an 18. Doing
Just
another
whittle him
4
away.
damage. Pop, pop. Hit him with a 12.
That's surprising.
Well, he is unarmored.
I suppose that's true, yeah.
7 more damage. So pop, pop, pop. And then you get to do one last bonus action poppin'.
Oh, do I? Right.
Yes, you do.
Uh,
And another nat 1. So going pop, pop, pop. You kind of trip, overbalance yourself, and miss them by a wide mile. But you've managed to do a good 15 points of damage, I think, that round from your 3 blows that landed.
Cool.
And Lieutenant Foot claps his hand and lets out a laugh, and he's like, "That's more like it. Absolutely." And he's a good show boy. This time he gives a swing rather than trying to shove you again. He swings and he misses you with a 12.
Blimey.
He gets one other attack, and so he swings with follow-up. This hits with a 16. And then as a bonus action, he tries to grapple you. Oh, I forgot to do the damage.
That's all right. You don't have to do the damage if you don't want to.
So he does 6 damage to you with the punch that lands. And then he attempts to grapple you. So rolling an athletics or acrobatics. I think acrobatics is with grapple as well. I'm just checking.
30, 20.
You got a dirty 20. You did charge those. You primed those dice nicely. Because while you're rolling some nat 1, it's not like when you need to not roll a nat 1. Let's see if he rolls higher than a dirty 20. He does not, because he rolls an 11. So he tries to grapple you, but you zoink out of the way. Lithely sidestep him. And that is his turn. Shaefira, you're still cheering?
Still cheering.
All right. We're back to Kymir.
Okay, I guess do the same again. Exactly the same
Woo!
again.
This is like feast and famine right here. That's the 3rd one you've rolled, right?
Yep. Bloody hell. Right.
But hey, nat 20, critical hit on the 3rd punch, which means I eat a pissed peach. And you get to roll max damage with that hand to hand.
Nice.
So while you missed 2 of the punches, the third one lands pretty securely, doing 9 points of damage, and you still get your bonus action. Which misses with an 8.
Okay, can I spend a key point and do Flurry of Blows?
No, I think Flurry of Blows is a bonus action, but you
Right,
could
so I
do
should
a
have done that
stunning
instead of
strike
the...
again.
Right, so if I take off the key point and I get the extra blow, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can upgrade that to a flurry. Yeah. Okay, so the second of your flurry of blows was a 24. Doing 8 damage. God, these beaches are good. I also just remembered I haven't eaten.
Oh no.
So things are going to get exciting very quickly. So, you landed half of your punches, but they did a stunning, not literally stunning because we didn't do a stunning strike, but 17 points of damage all total. Not too shabby.
Cool. All right.
You see some lacerations. You got a bloody nose going, and Lieutenant Flig seems to very much enjoy this. He's laughing as the blood rolls down his face. Laughter of a man who is glad that he's alive and he can feel it.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
While you were punching, you heard a rib crack. He doesn't seem to care. You see him twist a little bit and grunt as the pain kind of sinks in. He's reveling in this battle.
Okay.
And you hear him say, "You've lasting longer than most of the fishers around here."
I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not a fisherman.
And he laughs. Well met. He hits you with a 15. Oh, wait, does he hit you with a 15? I accidentally rolled on the lieutenant. What is your armor class?
My AC is 15.
Oh, I can't remember. Does that hit or did that not hit?
Oh, shit. Do you know what? I don't remember.
Oh, it does hit because you hit him with a 12, and that's his AC.
Right, okay.
So it does 8 damage to you. He gets to do another punch. And that one hits you with a 19. This one does 6 damage, so you've taken 14 damage total. And he attempts to grapple you again, so do your acrobatics roll.
Oh, damn it.
So you rolled a 9, he rolled a 17, so you are now grappled. All of your attack rolls, you can attempt to escape your next turn, of course, doing a strength check. Let me double check to make sure it has to be a strength check. It might. Oh, it can be dexterity instead or strength.
Okay.
And it will contest his strength again, so it'll be another contested roll. And your attacks while you are grappled will be at disadvantage.
Okay.
So that is his turn.
Shaefira shouts to Kymir, "Keep going for the ribs, she might puncture a lung."
You're so nice.
She's
just say this muffled sound from under the lieutenant's armpit.
This is another Wednesday to Shaefira. Could have probably taken Dave out of the order. Kymir, it is you.
Right, so I do a dex check to try and get out of the grapple? Or a dex save?
Yeah, you can roll another dex check. Ooh, 22. That's going to be hard to beat. So let's see how I do. I did not roll a 22. I rolled a 10.
Yay.
So Kymir gets out of the grapple.
Right, so is that my action?
Oh, and I forgot something, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to back move that thing I should have done. That means you can't attack.
I can't attack.
You can. I will let you attack.
Okay.
I will say that you use one of your actions to escape. So it's like you can attack twice in bonus action.
Okay. Okay, so there's one. Right, so one more? Or is that it?
Unless you
That's
want to
it.
key point it.
No, that's it.
Because we'll say we said like one of your attacks was escaping.
Right, so if I key
The
point it, does that
second-
mean I get
You're flurrying
one more?
of blows again.
Right, okay. Oh, damn it, one shot. Okay. I shall leave it at that.
Through this combat, Lieutenant Flag lets out shouts of joy. And this time, rather than trying to punch you again, he's trying to grab you. So do another acrobatics check. A 15 is good enough because he rolled a 12. He's going to do another attempt to grab you. So roll another acrobatic. 19 this time is not good enough because he rolled a 22.
Bloody hell.
So the lieutenant grapples you and he drags you over to the well. Which you can do because dragging a grappled person is half speed. And he's tilting you over the wall. So your head is hanging over the well. And you feel like the only thing that's keeping you from dropping is this man's grip on your jerkin. The blood is pouring down his face, and you see the sun is kind of glaring behind his head. So he's kind of uneerily spotlit. And there's like sweat dribbling down his brow, mingled with the blood. And then, just when you think he's going to let you drop, he lets out a shout of joy, claps you on the chest, and lifts you back up and sets you back on your feet. Lets you go. Like,
Okay.
that'll do, boy. You successfully bloodied him.
Hey.
I'm at your service for one boon. And he bows.
I will bow back because I feel that he could have just done whatever the bloody hell he wanted to at that point.
At that point, he kicks sand in your face.
Well, honestly.
And he laughs some more. You shouldn't bow to someone with a mockery, boy. But fair is fair. I owe you a boon.
Well, you know what I'm going to ask for my boon. I would like you to raise Eleander Fireborn.
Still. Very well. You can come with me. Your little friend can hop down. Does she need a lift?
No, it's fine.
She double backflips off the wall.
I like you too. If you don't die anytime soon. He escorts you back downstairs. I need the body.
Did we have the body?
We don't know where the body is, do we?
That's
So
going to be an issue.
We need to bring it here.
Do history check, because you do kind of know, or you know someone who would know. Yeah, 13's good enough. Because 13 is what you needed. Shaefira, you remember that vassal Refram who you talked to? He said that he did a gentle repose on Eleander Fireborn. So you know that he knows where the body is.
Okay. Do I know where he is?
He'll
Temple
be
of
at the
Sovereign
temple.
Host.
Yeah, temple in the town.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so we will go get Eleander's body and bring it back here.
Is he okay to wait?
He's ushered you to an antechamber off of the main temple. Seems to be his personal quarters. It's just a little box room, but there's one table in it and it has a chest. And he opens up the chest, and inside of it, he pulls out a very large diamond. And Shaefira, your eyes are like, oh.
Shiny.
It wasn't explicitly stated, he says. But I don't expect you to provide the components for the spell. Consider it my gift for an old comrade in arms.
Huh.
And he sits down on a stool, diamond in hand. I'll wait for you to bring the body.
All right, we'll be back as quick as we can.
Hmm.
He shrugs. I'm not in a hurry.
Well, we are.
All right. So you scurry off. Kymir, you managed to not get bloodied. You're close.
Ooh.
You got some bumps and bruises. It'll be
Yeah.
sore in the morning. Maybe need to put a poultice or a compress on something overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But you're in decent shape.
That makes a rare change.
So you head over to the Temple of the Sovereign Host,
Yeah, I think that's the best place to start, isn't it?
which Vassal Refram mentioned at some point. I'm sure. It's also on your map of the Stiiv and
It is,
Saltmarsh.
yeah.
Compared to the temple, it's actually to the south. Not too far of a walk. You notice the Temple of the Dark Six is actually close to the cemetery. But you trudge.
Isn't it?
It is. But you trudge south. I think you brought the cart just in case things didn't go in your favor.
Yes, I do believe Shaefira's comment was if she needed to haul my body back.
Really?
Yes.
And as you hop back into the cart and urge Donkey and Dougie southward on the road towards the Temple of the Sovereign Host, you see heading in the opposite direction the fisherwoman you spoke to earlier with a couple other townsfolk carrying a tarped body to the north. It only takes about 10 minutes. You ride the cart southward.
Okay.
To the temple. You get to the temple, you see there's graffiti on the outside. It says in blue paint, heathens, usurpers. And there's painted blue flames. And a sheepish looking vassal Refram trying to scrub it all off. And he sees you and he shakes his head. He's like, oh, silver flame kids. Bunch of hooligans. How are you doing today? Do you need a cure wounds? Mr. Kymir, you look like you might cure wounds.
I would definitely appreciate it, but actually we are looking for Eleander Fireborn's body.
Oh, 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 I was just talking to him. Oh, yes. Having a nice little chat with the dead. I like to do that.
You do, yes.
He's so nice. He was wondering what happened to his book collection.
Well, would he like to find out for himself?
Oh, can he do that? Is he a zombie? I didn't notice.
We've made a deal with Lieutenant Fleek from the Sixth Temple of the Six.
What? But that means you would have had to bloody him in combat.
Yep, hence my looking a bit rough at the moment.
My goodness. Oh my. Oh me. He's flabbergasted. He just keeps saying like, oh my stars, oh my garters. And he seems to have lost capacity of any cogent speech other than exclamations of wonder that you have managed to survive this.
Well, I have to admit, I'm right there with him, but have to make the most of this actually happening.
Well, he's going to raise Eleander from the dead.
That's what he tells us. Yeah.
Gosh. Oh, this is a big. Can I come along?
As long as the lieutenant doesn't mind when you get there, if he's happy for you to stay, but I don't want to offend him and upset the bargain.
I haven't seen Damian Flig raise somebody from the dead in years. It was one of the things. Oh, I remember as a boy. Oh, I saw him raise 82 Bloomwiffler from the dead. We thought he'd been crushed by a rock. Effortless raising from the dead. Oh, that's what inspired me to join the church, you know. I'd love to see him do it again. I never thought I would.
All right, well, come along and let's see if he'll let you look in on it.
He ushers you into the church proper. It's a bit of a ramshackle affair. Like, it's even grungier than the Temple of the Dark Six. But you're like, it seems like an unintentional grunginess. And there is practically nobody there. You see a tarnished symbol of the sovereign host up front. But there's dust everywhere, and there's been damage. There's some broken pews. There's maybe one fisherwoman lighting a candle up front, and that's it. None of the traffic that you saw with the Order of the Dark Six.
Okay.
And you think there are signs that there has been other vandalism at this temple, and left to his own devices, Vassal Refram just hasn't been able to keep up with it all. But he ushers you to a back room where there is a linen shrouded body, much like the forms that when you were at the prison and there was a whole thing with bodies there, or when you're doing that dealio with the body of Captain Mars Lamont that you thought might have been Gellin Primewater. Much the same thing. Same kind of linen wrapping and preparations. And it seems to have been quite nicely tucked. You heard, Vassal Refram keeps going on about how he just had a nice chat over tea about books with Eleander, and that he's good company, and he's twittering about it, or tittering, or whatever the word is, because my brain is weird. but it looks like he might have unwrapped it to have a chat, but he's quite with great care re-shrouded Eleander. So while the temple itself is ramshackle, you can tell that Vassal Refrum takes the care and preparations of the dead very seriously and almost elevates it to an art form in how neat and tidy the wrappings on this body are. He moves as if he's going to lift up the form, and he gets spaghetti arms, and he looks at both of you and he's like, "Oh, I don't think I can manage it myself."
I'll step forward. Not that I've got much strength, but
That would be good. I do have a wheelbarrow out back if you need a wheelbarrow.
we have a cat.
You just sling him over your shoulder.
I've only got a strength of 10, so who knows? Oh, hang on.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
no, I've
You
strength
guys
of 10.
don't. You guys are both kind of weak yourselves. But between the two of you, you can carry a body. You just can't individually carry a body.
I will. I'll get his top. You get his bottom. His legs.
All right.
Yeah, we'll cart him out to the cat.
And chuck him on back.
And Vassal Refrum chases after you with a splint mail. And he's like, just when he wakes up, he won't want to be naked.
Oh.
Good point. Do you want to just sit on the back, Father?
Oh,
You call him
yes.
Father?
Well, I'm not your father, per se. But you just call me Vassal.
Vassal?
You could call
Was
me
that-
father. That's a little bit more of you. I don't blame you. I mean, that's what the Silver Flame call their men. You know, when they aren't calling them inquisitors. They're people, and they're obviously much more popular than little old me.
I hop up and we'll let's get this sorted.
He dumps the split mail into the cart and then tries to get up into the cart's what do you call it? The cart nest. It's a little bit high though, and he's having problems pushing himself up. And he's like, "Can you give me a boost? A little help? Just one arm up."
I go do the stirrup thing.
All right. And once you give him a little leg up, he hops into the cart and dangles his feet off the back.
I jump up front next to Shaefira.
Yeah, get it up, donkey and Doug. Hey.
He's so excited.
Donkey or Dougie?
No, Vassal Refrum. He keeps tittering on about, "Oh, we're going to raise the dead. Oh, this is so good. This is so nice. Oh." And he starts humming a little song about resurrection. When the host comes marching in, that kind of thing.
Oh dear.
And another 10 minutes, you cart your way back north to the Temple of the Dark Six. And the whole process begins again, but in reverse. Vassal Refrum asks for a little help getting out of the cart.
Get down.
He picks up the splint mail, and he's kind of bobbing and weaving, but he manages to carry it inside while you two heft the shrouded body. There's a little bit of mystery at the front door. You got trying to get it angled just so it doesn't bonk on the threshold, but you manage to navigate finally and get it inside. And what's his face at the temple? Welgar Brinehanded. I couldn't remember his name in total. I'm like, Welly Brinehands. What's his name? Welgar Brinehanded. He's still giving his kind of. It's like Doom and pulpit kind of preaching about how the devourer is going to consume everyone and their time has come and they've lost who they were supposed to lose, and it's a shame that they didn't die at sea. But there's quite a bit of a crowd listening to this. Still, you see a Warforged has come up to where the bloodstain is that used to be Eustace, who had fallen to his death. The stain that used to be Eustace. And he's lacklusterly scrubbing it up. Throws a pail of water on there, sees the blood kind of trickle away in between the cobblestones, and the Warforged shrugs, and that's good enough. It looks more red in the general area. He's like, that's the look I'm going for. And he trudges back to the area that's dedicated to the traveler. And you go back to the anteroom where you left Lieutenant Flick.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still sitting on that stool. This time he's got a lemon.
A lemon?
A lemon. And he's kind of pouring lemon juice into the cuts on his knuckles.
Oh dear.
See, now we know how that feels, and it's not pleasant.
He seems pretty happy about it.
He's a weird dude.
It's better to feel alive than feel nothing.
Okay.
And he's like, you've got the body. And then he sees that Vassal Refrum kind of peeps in through the doorway behind you, holding this suit of splint mail that's almost as big as he is. And you see Lieutenant Fligg suddenly get this eye roll, like, oh, that guy. You brought him. Ugh.
He had the body. We had to tell him what was happening. If this is a problem, I can ask him to stand outside.
No, it's not a problem. Just keep him quiet. He gushes on. It's really irritating.
Then I'll go over to Refrum and say, "You have to keep quiet."
Oh, I know. This is just really exciting. And he
Okay, quiet excitedly.
Vessel Refrum dumps the splint mail on a little cot that's to one side, and then he just kind of goes prostrate in front of Lieutenant Fligg, and he's like, "Oh my lord, I'm so excited! You're gonna raise someone from the dead. This is such a blessing."
Shh.
And Lieutenant Fligg just steps over him. All right, lay the body out on the bed.
We lay the body out on the bed.
He places the diamond on top of the body and proceeds to unwrap the upmost shroud, part of the shroud, and picks up some other herbs and incense, a flail, and he says, "You don't have to stick around if you don't want to. It's going to take a little while. You can take a copper from my desk and take the vassal for some ice cream if you really want to. I'd rather you not stick around. At least I don't want to be alone with him. I just might commit homicide."
Okay. Maybe we take him with us then.
And Vassal Reef was like, I'll be quiet. I will. I swear. I promise." And you see, as you're dragging him away, that the lieutenant starts to flail his own back, and he's starting to chant some words in a language you don't understand. And Vassal Refrum's expression is a little bit confused. He's like, That's not how I remember him doing it. This is really weird.
Does that mean he thinks something wrong with what's happening?
Do a insight or religion check.
Oh, hang on. Religion is slightly better. Oh no, insight's definitely better. For crying out loud, Shaefira, save me. Oh, much better.
Oh, Shaefira's like, he's a different god now. Of course, the resurrection rites aren't going to be the same. He's a follower of the mockery now, not Doldorn. So it's not going to. The ceremony is not going to have the same structure as it did before. So,
Fair.
Master Refrom, he just doesn't recognize it because the last time he saw this kind of thing, it was a ritual for the Temple of the Sovereign Host, not for the Dark Six.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
So you take him for an ice cream, come back an hour later. Unless you want to do something else. Is there something else in
No,
this part of
not
town
really.
that you
I
want to
feel.
spend an hour doing?
I suspect that if I've been beaten to a pulp, I'm just more than happy to sit somewhere quietly.
Well,
So
you might
you're
want some.
do you get an ice cream or do you get like a shaved ice, a snow cone, a gelato, sorbet? Is there a frozen treat preference? Is what I'm getting at.
Kymir strikes me as a gelato sort of person.
I'll just say.
Do you get a bowl or do you get a cone?
Well, Shaefira seems to have all the insight, so
I'd say cone.
yeah. I thought that Shaefira is a chalk ice type person.
No, I'm more of a take me to a bar and I'll have a drink.
You want one of those mojito
Never mind
ices?
fucking ice cream. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So like
exactly.
Kymir gets a cone of what flavor?
Strawberry.
Lime.
Strawberry.
Strawberry. No, I just
Always
said
strawberry.
lime. All right. I'll take the mojito ice
I was about
thing.
to say, Kymir gets a cone of strawberry ice cream. Vassal Refrom gets a small bowl of vanilla. And Shaefira's like, screw this lot, let's take it to the bar. And you go down to the snapping line, and she gets like 2 fists of claw wine and pops them back.
Yeah.
Or the drink of your choice, you know. You want some rum? Get some rum. This is a bar that you're in good favor with, so there's probably some halflings around, or just some of the regular patrons of the bar that recognize you and is like, "Hey, Shaefira!" and they buy you around. While you're drinking, oh, you also see Wilhelm and Paco, your tasty friend. They're celebrating.
What are they celebrating? Wilhelm getting back, or Paco being popular, or
Well, you hear the chat in the bar. There seems people talking about what a great guy Paco is, and then they're talking about what a great job that Wilhelm is here because he shored up that problem. He did all sorts of cleanup in the sties. So you're hearing a lot of talk about the help that Wilhelm did in the sties to clean up
cool.
the mudslide. And you hear a lot of people saying positive things about Paco. And they seem to be celebrating that they're about what a great job and how things are looking up. And Wilhelm seems to be celebrating the part where he can drink alcohol and
Yeah.
and pronounce words in common. And you also see, while he's wearing quite rich robes, and his hair is lustrous and well coiffed, brushed, within an inch of its life and styled just so. You see hanging over the arm of his chair a very curious object. It seems to be a pair of giant underpants. And every once in a while, he seems to stroke it lovingly. But he and Paco, they're chanting, having a laugh. And you see Wilhelm. He's chatting up some barmaids.
Of course he is.
Anybody who's a looker in the snapping line, he's got a nice thing to say to them. But in general, he's being the life of the party, and they're having a good time. But there are plenty of people, being like, "Hey, Shaefira," buying you drinks. Not a word boo to say to you about anything. You see Barry, the tomato vendor, and he seems to be chatting up about what's his name, Esteban or Cal, talking about his platform in the election. What a great guy Esteban is.
Now,
But he's also, once he gets finished with the speech and people seem to react to it in a positive way, you see Barry kind of scuffle back to the bar and order a double of whiskey, and then he just kind of hunches over it.
Oh. Go on, what was your question?
What were you
no,
going to say?
my question was, does Barry the tomato vendor drink Bloody Marys?
Oh. He
But
probably
obviously not enough
should.
whiskey.
He probably should. You can ask him though. Right now he's drinking like 3 fingers of whiskey.
Hard stuff.
Yeah, the hard stuff. No dilution for Barry today. He seems a bit down. And then addition to that, as you settle down with your drinks, and I guess Kymir's licking his cone, and
Well, that sounded wrong.
It does. And Vassal Refrum is spooning up his vanilla ice cream. He doesn't want to drink unless it's milk. A halfling, a very a halfling who's wearing like leather pants and an over robe almost, rather than a jacket that looks belted, kind of like a wraparound jacket, and a pack slung over his back, and a hat that's been pulled low, and he's a bit scruffy. And he seems to be talking to different people in the bar, and eventually you see that some people are like pointing towards Shaefira when he's talking to them, and eventually he meekly works his way to where you guys are at the bar. And he says, "Excuse me, are you a Shaefira?"
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
You don't know me? But you probably already knew that.
Yeah.
My name is Tanto Bluescale. I'm from Kurosawa, the hamlet to the north. Bet you didn't know that.
No. Yeah, is there something I can help you with?
Well, I kind of do need some help, and I'm hoping that you might be helpful. Because the people I've talked to sort of say that you're a helpful halfling person. Can I buy you a drink?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's great. I will buy you a drink. What are you having?
I'll have a claw wine.
All right. Claw wine for the helpful halfling here. And he points at Shaefira. And he turns to Kymir. He's like, "Oh, can I get you something, sir?"
No, thank you. I'm good.
All right. So, I'm from Kurosawa. Oh wait, no. Ooh, I mentioned that already. Oh, stupid, stupid. Get your act together, Tanto. And he's like, okay, my aunt Umami is a bit of a mad artificer. Do you know my aunt Umami? Umami Bluescale?
I don't think so.
Hmm. Well,
Uh,
she's a
oh,
bit
wait a
wild and
minute.
crazy with her inventions sometimes. She's been. Did you have a question?
No, I'm just
I don't want to be rude and interrupt you, because that would,
no. Sorry, carry on.
that
Carry
would
on.
not encourage you to be helpful if I was rude. Um. So lately she's been working on a rudimentary flying machine. Cause, well, we have a lot of problems with the Cardigan gang. And she thought she'd work on this flying machine as a way to get the whole gang the next time they raided the town. So she did an unmanned flying test run in the direction of the drowned forest south of the village. Well, she said it was going to be unmanned. But last minute, I saw her crawl into the machine and she flew off. So, yay, good test. And then I watched her from my telescope because I like looking at the sky and the stars. They're really cool. You know, Sybaris up above. Sometimes, one time, I thought I saw into Fernia, but that was the sun instead.
I'm going to lean over and say, what were you saying about the halfling artificer?
Oh, yeah, that's my Aunt Umami. She's a halfling artificer. Artificer. I don't know. What's the correct pronunciation here? I don't want to be
I don't know.
anybody knows.
I don't think anyone knows.
Okay. Well, oh gosh, did I get off task? Stupid, stupid Tanto.
It's fine.
He,
Just
he hits
continue.
his head. He's like, oh, I'm blowing it. So, I watched my Aunt Umami from my telescope as she was flying in the direction of the drowned forest in her experimental gyroscope. Copter? Gyrocopter. Yeah, that's what it was called. That's what she said it was. Prototype X-28, I think she called it. And it was flying really nice, but then it seemed to hit some trees and she went down, like, over the drowned forest. Bummer. So, do you know about the drowned forest?
Do we?
I don't think so.
It's very dangerous. Like, people don't want to go there on purpose. Oh, I mean, people who are really brave and courageous and helpful go there.
Hmm.
I'm going to lean over and go again and say, stop the whitewash. Just get on with it.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't come back right away. And I'm not sure. I mean, it's dangerous enough that I'm not sure my elderly aunt would maybe survive a crash in the drowned forest. But, have to find out, right? Can't just leave her there if she's in trouble. That wouldn't be nice. And I try to do the right thing and be a nice person. It's not like I'm in the Cardigan gang or anything. Huh. Oh, so my cousin Trellis. She's good about this kind of stuff. She's a lot better at speaking. If you'd spoken to her, she would have been much more straightforward about this whole situation. Well, she came to Saltmarsh to seek help in tracking down, well, it's her mum. But she didn't return the next day like I expected her to. So then she was gone as well, which is really quite a pickle for me to get my head around. I'm very stressed.
Oh dear.
Okay, so let us just get this straight. Your aunt has crashed her machine in the drowned forest, so you would
Yes.
like us to help you find her, or you would like us to
Oh,
go by
yes.
ourselves?
I
And in
think
the
you would like to
meantime,
go to. I would like you to go to the drowned forest and find her and rescue her if she needs rescue, or if it's too late, maybe
Okay,
bring her back.
but her daughter has also come to Saltmarsh and has since disappeared.
Oh, she didn't disappear. I found out that she perished in the mudslide.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's a bit of
Was
a bummer.
the person have a name? The one that perished?
Trellis.
Trellis
Mm.
Bluescale. Yeah. I mean, Aunt Umami, if she's not dead, she's gonna be really mad that Trellis is dead, or sad, or all sorts of emotions. You know, it's a spectrum.
Oh.
I don't have much in the way of coin. It would be nice if I did. But if you can find Aunt Umami, perhaps she could repay you with one of her inventions. Or, well, there is the family ring. And I'd hate to give that up, but if you don't like inventions, then I guess, and if you're like, have to have treasure, then I guess maybe I could give you that.
How about we see if we can find her first, and then we'll talk about what you might have that's useful.
Oh, that'd be super great. So you're gonna help? Are you really helpful? Oh my gosh, that's great!
Yeah.
You want another drink?
Yeah.
Another claw wine for the helpful halfling!
Kymir is gonna look at Shaefira and say, right, so we do have to get back to the Temple of the Six at some point soon to
Yeah.
pick up Eliander.
Yeah, but that's fine. So we get Oleander.
I'm talking about you getting pissed, not going and helping find.
Look, I can just lie down in the back of the wagon, and you can do all the jibber jabbering. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, I need to. So I'm going to turn to this halfling Tonto and say we've got other things we need to clear up today. We'll set off first thing in the morning. Can you give us any information about whereabouts in the drowned forest you think she may have crashed? If you saw that go down, or
I
anything
will
you can
draw
tell
it
us
on a
about her?
map. The last place I had visual contact of her through my telescope.
Okay.
So he, do you have a map of the general area?
I've got the Eberron Campaign map up.
Oh, the one, we have the same map. You pull out the map that you previously got from Oceanus, where he scribbled the location of Manon, his home, and the location of the lizard folk mound and all that crap. And you show it to the halfling, and he shows you, like, okay, this is Kurosawa. It's nicely labeled. See, this is a really good map. And oh, look, the drowned forest is labeled too. And he circles that. He circles it, and then he like thinks better of it. He's like, oh, that's kind of rude. That's assuming that you can't read, and I'm sorry, I didn't want to imply that you can't read.
That's fine.
So if you go just south of the O, yeah, that's where I lost sight of the gyrocopter.
Okay. All right. That'll do.
Just south of the O.
Yeah.
So it's kind of inland. She made it across the river.
Which O? The O on the drowned or the O of the
O
forest?
on the drowned.
Okay.
Really between the O's. It's like an O sandwich. Oh wait, would that mean it's a dot sandwich and the O is the bread? I don't know. But you get it.
Okay.
Oh, you're blowing it again, Tanto. You're blowing it again. Need to be coherent when you tell them where your Aunt Umami fell, or she's gonna die.
Do we have a rough idea of how long it's going to take us to get there? That's a river to. We can potentially. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. If we can get the jolly boat to go up the river, how long do we reckon that would take?
It is against the current.
Okay.
And if you get off to the south of the spot, shorter boat trip, a little bit further by land. But if you get off from the north between Kurosawa and where he marked it, a little bit less land travel, but a lot more river travel,
Yeah.
like twice the river travel.
They can get off south.
So getting off south is actually probably going to be a little bit of a shorter trip, but involves more trekking through the drowned forest itself.
Okay. All right. I'm just thinking we'll have to. I mean, what is he going to do? Is he going to hang around for us and hope that we come back? Because we could die out there. So
Yeah, I figure it'll take you at least the short river path. It'll take you 8 hours on the river, and then another 8 hours at least trekking through, probably one overnight through the drowned forest
okay.
to get to where she was last seen. Whereas if you take the long river route, it's going to take you a full day on the river, and then maybe 8 hours trekking through the forest. But you could probably get in the forest. You estimate you could get in the forest and out of the forest within a day without resting in the forest if you go the long water route. Whereas if you go the short water route, you would have to probably be in the forest overnight.
Okay.
So it's a
Okay.
question of whether or not you want to do your overnight on the water or in the forest.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Decisions.
Mm.
And
Okay, we'll worry about that later.
but he says he'll stay in town he'll be in town for the next week. While he sees to getting Trellis's body and arrange for taking that back to Kurosawa. So you can
Okay.
find him. You can find him at the snapping line for the next week.
Okay.
Okay. We will do our best to find your aunt.
So you have a couple of rounds. Barry, he downs the whiskey that he had, and he orders another. Still looks depressed.
Can
Do
I
we
go over
wanna
to
know?
Barry? Yeah, no, can I go over to Barry and say, hey, how you doing?
Oh.
Not in a joy way.
Hey, Kymir.
How you doing?
You should consider voting for Esteban Urkel for city
No,
council.
no, 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 no. How are you? How's things?
Well, things are really good. I mean, being a campaign manager, I felt really useful and productive, but the election's tomorrow. And then I'm
And
going to be
what-
unemployed again and ruined with my tomato business an absolute wreck.
So I've got a proposition for you.
A proposition?
So you seem to be really good at growing things.
Well,
Or is that I mean, am I just assuming there because he sells tomatoes, but he seems to grow his own tomatoes, doesn't he?
I'm really into tomatoes, man. I'm really into them. Yeah. Tomatoes really pull a garden together.
Okay, so I don't know if you know, but we've taken over the old alchemist place.
I think I did know that about you. I at least heard it on the streets. Talking to a lot of people as a campaign manager.
So how would you feel about coming and working with us and setting up a garden to grow more than just tomatoes? And basically, you give us a percentage of your growth for us to use, and then you sell the rest, and that's yours.
You want me to grow just tomatoes? You get other crops,
Other crops,
cash crops.
anything you fancy. Carrots. Well, carrots would be useful because we've got donkeys.
Yeah.
But anything that you think would be sellable, that you think can make a profit, if you want to experiment with different veg and stuff, that's great. All I'm doing is giving you the opportunity of somewhere to grow it and to
Carrots, tomatoes. How do you feel about herbs?
Yeah, we like herbs.
You like an herb?
herbs are very good.
Okay.
Chef Perkins would love some herbs.
You know what herbs are good for?
Everything.
Potions.
Yeah, everything. And alchemy. Yeah, alchemy. Yeah. Well, that could be something. Woot! You mean you'll give me a job doing that?
Yes.
Well, I'll be. Can I buy you a drink? Oh wait, I'm drinking in the
Normally, I would say
house.
yes,
I'm drinking
but
on
I've
Esteban
got things
Urkel's
to
tab. I'm
do.
sure he won't mind paying for a cup of claw wines for you, buddies.
All right. So what we will do? You've got a place of your own, haven't you?
I do. I have a house in Stiiv where I have my subterranean basement where I grow my tomatoes. Yeah.
Okay. So we will have a word with Chef Perkins and Rocky, and tell, because we're about to go out of town for a bit. We're going to let them know that what we've offered you. You find the best part of the garden to do your growing. I'll leave some money for you to buy equipment for polytunnels or whatever you need.
Oh, this is great.
Greenhouse.
I
Um,
I was really
and
wondering how I was gonna eat because I lost out on that alchemist apprenticeship job. My interview didn't go so well.
alchemist
Yeah.
apprenticeship job.
Oh yeah, Grubs wanted an assistant because everybody's been buying up a lot. There's been a lot of demand for potions of water breathing lately, and he can't keep up with the demand in his business. So he was gonna have an apprentice, and I interviewed for it, and he hated me. And I thought that was my last shot to get a job here in town. But you showed up. You're great. You're the best, guys. I will grow you some awesome herb, man.
Oh my god,
And
he's going to
lady.
grow marijuana.
No, I mean magical herbs. Yeah, magical herbs.
Still
Mushrooms.
marijuana. Yeah. All right. So we've got a deal.
Absolutely. I will show up the day after election day, which would be Friday if I'm not using the actual name days of the Eberron calendar. The Galifar calendar. Yeah, if I'm using other names, I'll call it Friday.
All right. That sounds great. I will let the guys know that you're going to turn up at the manor.
Awesome. I'll bring some cuttings.
There. I feel a lot better about Barry the Smart Vendor now.
He looks well cheered. Much happier than you found him.
And it's a food supply as well. So, you know.
It will
Yeah.
help with household expenses, probably.
Mm. Okay. So I need to make sure that I leave some money with Rocky before we go. So I think we need to go back to the Temple of Six, check on Aleander, home overnight, leave money with Rocky,
You get your hit points back.
rest up. Yeah, and then we can get off trying to find Auntie Umami. Umami.
Umami.
Why do I know that?
Friends, Ross, umami.
Oh yeah.
No, umami, they call it like the fifth flavor.
Yeah.
Right, there we go. We've got a plan sorted.
Auntie umami, save it from the drowned forest. So yeah, you picked up a quest. You picked up all sorts of quests at the tavern.
Well, yeah. All right,
That's the
so
risk you
we
take when you go for a claw wine. It's the people at the bar with chalices over their heads.
but the opportunities to potentially get some interesting artificer type gear sounds intriguing.
It does.
Curioso thing. Now that you know that you live in a world where guns and dynamite exists, that who knows? Who knows what fun could happen?
Okay.
So you finish up. You do two rounds of claw wine, and have your ice cream.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Haul back into the cart and pop up back north to the Temple of the Dark Six.
Yep. Make sure we've got Refrun
Yep.
with us.
And when you get back, there is Eleander, Fireborn, sitting up in bed. He's pale. He looks like, he's got that look of a dude with one hit point. It's going to take a good 8 hours rest before he's feeling fully himself again. But he's sitting up. He's alive. He's breathing. And he sees you walk into the room, and his face just breaks out in this beaming smile. Kymir! I hear I have you to thank for this. That's a lad. I won't forget it.
I just walk over and say, "How are you feeling?"
I'm breathing. Feel like I had the mountain of mud dropped on my head. That's what I feel like. But
As I understand it, that's pretty much it.
I was a gunner. Damien's been catching me up. What's been going on in town? There's a prison break at the guard tower.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So I get.
I hear you appointed yourself well there.
Well, we did his best. I suppose we just fill him in on like Cardigan and stuff, and explain that Scab got away and we still don't know where he is.
Scab. I don't know anyone by the name of Scab.
Well, he was pretending to be some kind of solicitor or lawyer.
Oh. What do you think his true affiliations are?
We think the Emerald Claw.
Emerald Claw in Saltmarsh.
Mm,
Phew.
and I guess we explained that. Oh God, what's his face? His body's disappeared. Hang on, where's my notes?
Mention the Emerald Claw. Lieutenant Flick, he's been kind of acting like he's a little bit disinterested in this reunion. But he hears the Emerald Claw and he actually looks at the three of you. Like he's listening now.
Okay.
That's at least noteworthy in his worldview.
Right. He's not actually going to volunteer any information or anything.
He doesn't volunteer information. He doesn't volunteer to assist you with anything. But you tell that before, where like anything that you were up to meant absolutely nothing to him. Before this time, his work here was done because he'd raised Eleander from the dead as agreed. But when you mentioned the Emerald Claw, suddenly you have his attention, and he seems like this is actually something he would keep track of.
Okay. Well, I guess we don't care about him
So
knowing, do we? So
I guess I'm trying to communicate that he is not disinterested at the mention of the Emerald Claw, but he does not volunteer.
Okay, so is that because it's a different religion, or he's concerned about the Emerald Claw could like push in on their area, or is he interested in the fact that it's Emerald Claw, they're also shitty, and he might actually, want to meet up with them?
Do history check
History check. Oh God.
or religion.
I do religion on the off. No, that's not very good either. Right, Shaefira.
What about Shaefira?
Mm. Um.
How about an insight? Let's go for a number. Maybe I should just tell you anyhow. Maybe I should just not have you roll for things that I want to tell you anyhow. Maybe I should just stop having you roll.
There we go. Insight.
Never roll
Woohoo!
again. Okay. So you reckon? Yeah, you know that Emerald Claw, while not explicitly, the Emerald Claw is not explicitly like the same as the Church of Blood of Vol. You know that they were the premier armed forces of the nation of Karnath during the last war. So the Emerald Claw is likely forces that Lieutenant Flig and Eleander Fireborn, as veterans, likely fought against during the last war.
Right. Okay. So not necessarily friendly feelings there.
Not necessarily friendly feelings, and he likely has a history with them as an adversary.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I guess we should tell Aleander about Galen Primewater's body being whisked away.
So you do like the Cliff Notes version of
Yes,
stuff
yeah,
that you've been
basically.
up to. Tell
For
him
the last
about the
10
lizard
sessions.
folk because you never got to report to him about the lizard folk. In fact, you stood up the town council meeting.
Oh,
Or AKA the DM completely forgot about when we scheduled that and let you just go
yeah.
off
So we'll
doing the whole Wilhelm adventure.
Yeah. So we'll explain that the lizard folk are currently staying with Anders, and he's looking after them, and
That
he
diplomatic
should really
relations
get involved.
are on.
Yes.
He got a little bit injured during the mudslide. Totally not poisoned at all, but he's doing much better. You tell him about Spitfire Cardigan and how the Cardigan gang did the prison break. They seem to be after Galen Primewater's body, but you're very confused because the body they apparently took belonged to a pirate captain known as Mars Lamond. When you mention that name, Eleander shakes his head. I've heard of Mars Lamond. Dread pirate. We've been trying to catch him. Dangerous man. He's affiliated with the Bluescales. And he confirms that yes, the Bluescales do have ties to the Emerald Claw.
Okay.
And they are not good people. Definitely do not want them attacking Saltmarsh again.
Right.
And Eleander is weak, but he's also very concerned about the defenses of the town now, given the mudslide, given the prison break. You tell him that Manistrad Copperlocks, the dwarf representative from the Kundrak Mining Company. I think that's what I called it, the mining company, the Dwarven Mining Company from the Roar Holds.
Yes.
They share offices with the Kundrak Bank. They're in the same building, so there seems to be some ties there. You tell him that she was injured at a fire that was related to the Cardigan gang, but she seems to be okay and she's recuperating. So he's concerned. He's like wondering, if this was a deliberate plot to take out the town council. He asked you questions if Ada Oland is safe. How's she doing? What has she been doing? What has she been doing?
Was she the one who was injured in the fire?
No, Manistrad Copperlocks, the dwarf, was injured in the fire.
Yeah.
All you know is that she's been hanging out with Oceanus.
Oh yeah, that one.
She's pretty had like a low profile, really, outside of town council meetings. You haven't really had any interactions with her. You just know that she's hanging out with Oceanus. And since you've been giving Oceanus a wide berth, you've pretty much been giving her a wide berth. But as far as you know, she was not injured in any of these events. She's the only person who is hale and hearty. Whereas Anders twisted his ankle, was absolutely totally not poisoned. Just a twisted ankle, but he's much better now because his horse fell on him.
Well, killed on him.
Yeah, his horse died on him. So Eleander is a bit concerned about the well-being, and he's like, I see that I need a lot of work, and I can't waste too much time resting up before I get back to shoring up the defenses of our town.
Well, you need to recuperate, and from what we saw in the prison break, oh God, what was his name?
I swear to God, I can't remember.
No,
I think it's Deathbreen. I got Deathbreen here. I can't even remember my right hand man's name.
But he seemed very competent.
Stonehorn or something.
That was it.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
Yeah. I feel you should take the opportunity to maybe give him a bit more
responsibility. Like,
that's the word. Yep.
He likes administrating the prison.
He's comfortable
there, but the time has come for him to step up and and take on. We could
More duties.
we could give the prison guard job to somebody like constable duty.
Yes. So make the most of it. Get help. Give yourself the chance to recuperate fully from this horrendous experience, so that you can serve the town as you need to.
Gives Kymir a considering look, and lad, are you sure you don't want? Are you sure you don't want to be drafted into the guard?
I have other things I need to do.
It's a shame, but I trust that if the town needs your defence again, in such cases, a prison break or a raid from the pirates, you'll come to the defences the best you're able. That's quite able indeed.
We would, yes.
And he scratches his head. I'm pretty sure we owed you payment for your diplomatic mission to the Bloodroot tribe.
Oh God, did we? Did we really get paid for that?
Right, I think we offered you hazard money for your supplies and the time out of your way. 1,000 gold, wasn't it?
It may have been.
Oh, there's a draft at the bank that was set aside for you. You should check that out.
Okay, I will do so.
Don't forget, or you might accrue interest. We'll still have to pay for the deposit box. Oh, I've been making that sound a lot today. It's so hard trying to be Irish and not being good at it.
Well, you do a damn sight better job than I could. And I've got an Irish employee.
I've got
but
Irish
anyway.
relatives, but like, I'm still pants at it.
Oh dear.
Well, Damien's been nice, kind enough, for old time's sake, letting me rest here a bit. But I'll head back to the tower tomorrow. Oh, I suppose I should send a note that I'm not as dead as previously assumed.
Yeah.
Since
Maybe.
as elections are tomorrow, don't want them filling my seat. That
This
would
is
be
true.
awkward.
Yes.
Bit of a ruckus if somebody thinks they've been elected to the council and I'm alive, still in the council. I'm assuming that being dead, dead but coming back to life doesn't exclude me from retaining my council seat.
Well, it does strike me that this is the ideal opportunity if you didn't want to be in the town council anymore, to focus on other things.
Oh God, no! It's my solemn duty and responsibility to stay on the council and defend the town of Saltmarsh from all evil doing. Absolutely my responsibility. I wouldn't shirk it for all the books.
Okay.
Library of a place that has a really nice library. Oh, I know there's a place that has a really great library, and the name of it just isn't coming to my brain right now. It's to the west. But it's grand, and I wouldn't trade all those books for my place, the town council. It's my solemn duty. If you take a glance at Lieutenant Fligg, you see he's rolling his eyes again at all this talk of duty.
Oh.
But Eleander pats Kymir on the shoulder and calls you a good lad one more time, and then he settles down for a nap. Seems like he is used up the energy that he had, and he needs to rest.
Okay. I mean, I could give him a tasty ham. Would that help?
Oh, certainly.
I will give him a tasty ham.
Energize him somewhat, so he doesn't look like he has 1 hit point anymore. He looks more like he has 10 hit points. Still a bloodied man, but he's doing better. A little bit of pink comes back into his cheeks.
Okay.
He's resting more comfortably than he was before. So you have succeeded with this energy that the tasty ham gave him. You see him, he asks Lieutenant Flick for some parchment and a pen, and you see he's scribbling out notes. So it seems he's going to send out messages to the other surviving town council members to inform them of his resurrection. And Shaefira, you regrettably noticed that the big shining diamond that was here previously is no longer to be seen.
Figured.
Yeah. Diamond be gone.
Nah, there'll be more.
And I think, well, at this point, you would probably, head home?
Yes, head home for a good old sleep. Sleep off the claw wine.
Good old sleep. You get home. Dave is super excited. He's talking about how he's unfamiliar and humanized. He has with him, he tells you that he's borrowed something from Chef Perkins. He got it out of the cupboard underneath the stairs. It's a Broomba. And you see that it's an animated broom that's sweeping the floors. And Dave is telling what direction to go.
There's an automatic setting, but I get to be the boss of the Roomba. I like to be the boss. I am unfamiliar and I get to order things around now, like brooms.
You peer your head into the library and the chickens are still in there, sitting in the chairs. You don't see the donkeys anywhere, and you hunt around a little bit, and they're upstairs. You're not quite sure how the donkeys got upstairs, but they're mulling about in one of the bedrooms.
Yeah.
And one of them, there's an abandoned chest in it, and you see the chest now has hay in it, and they're kind of treating that chest like a trough now.
Well, anything goes, really.
Things get crazy at your house.
Yeah. That's the truth.
So that's where we'll end it, with tomorrow picking up with it's election day. You have with Eleander back, there's only one seat open, and Mr. Dor is pretty much a shoo-in to get that seat. And now you have quashed Paco's hopes of getting elected office, as well as Tito's hopes for any chance of progressive reform in Saltmarsh that he was going for. But you have avoided Esteban Urkel, aka Stiiv, aka Esteban Urkel, from awkwardly getting elected to public office when he doesn't actually exist. Maintaining Stiiv's alias. So that's nice.
I hope he appreciates all that we've gone through.
And since you've now avoided any chance of all you guys getting elected and Mr. Dory's a shoo-in, that means you don't have to stick around for any last-minute election day hijinks trying to not get elected. So you're perfectly free. You're perfectly free to head off to the Drowned Forest if that's what you so desire.
Yeah.
And once he sees her home, Chef Perkins offers to make more peach muffins.
Yum.
Yum!
We should ask Chef Perkins to create some more bacon or ham to take with us. Well,
Okay.
Yes.
So he'll do that for the morning. Give him 8 hours notice, and he's making up some ham.
And obviously, I'll have a word with Rocky about Barry the Tomato Vendor.
Okay. Yeah, so they'll be clued in that he's coming. Alrighty, I'm so starving now. I'm either gonna eat a lot more pissed peaches, or I need to go make some food.
Yeah, yeah.
I ate
Go
a
get
couple
some
extra during this
food.
session, but now there's like a whole, my stomach is rubbing a blister. It did not last.
Go eat.
Yeah, go
The
eat some proper food.
The peaches did not have staying power.
You could have some peaches for pudding though after you've had some proper
I
food.
could absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okie dokie. We'll see you next time.
All right, I'll try to figure out how much experience you actually get for the activities you had today.
Okay, cool.
Because there is experience involved with raising Eleander from the dead.
Good. Yay. All right, then. We will speak
See
to
you later.
you next week.
Alrighty, thanks everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye, Steve.